What if humanity's most intelligent creation ends up being the last? Not because it is evil, but because it becomes too intelligent for us to control. Humans have never been the strongest creatures on Earth. We don't run the fastest, we don't have the sharpest claws, and we don't possess the most sensitive senses. Yet there is one thing that sets us apart from every other species: our ability to think. We can imagine the future, plan things that have never existed before, and create tools that amplify our own abilities. From simple stones to modern computers, intelligence has been humanity's greatest weapon. For thousands of years, human progress moved slowly. Knowledge was passed from one generation to the next, often lost, then rediscovered. But everything changed when humans learned to store knowledge outside the brain, through language, writing, and eventually machines. From that moment on, progress was no longer linear. It became exponential. And now, for the first time, we are not just using intelligence, we are trying to create it. To understand what we are facing today, we need to look back. Intelligence did not appear suddenly. It is the result of a long, evolutionary process. Early brains were simple structures designed only for survival. As environments became more complex, living beings needed the ability to learn and adapt. But intelligence has always come at a cost: energy. Large brains consume enormous resources, which is why only a few species ever developed them to a significant degree. Humans are the exception. Our brains are not only large, but flexible. We can learn almost anything, adapt to nearly any environment, and, most importantly, cooperate in large groups. Language and culture allow us to accumulate knowledge. No one has to reinvent the wheel. They can simply learn from others. This is the foundation of civilization. Then came computers. At first, these machines were nothing more than fast calculators. They didn't think. But as data became abundant and algorithms improved, computers began to do something that looked like learning. They started finding patterns, making predictions, and taking simple decisions. This was the beginning of artificial intelligence. Early AI systems were extremely limited. They could perform a single task exceptionally well. A program could defeat a human at chess, but it couldn't recognize a face. A system could recognize speech, but it didn't understand its meaning. This is known as narrow intelligence, powerful, but fragile outside its specific domain. In recent years, however, something has changed. Larger models, more data, and vastly stronger computing power have produced systems that are far more flexible. AI can now write, translate, analyze, and assist in creative work. These systems do not think like humans, but the gap is getting smaller. The next goal is far more ambitious: artificial general intelligence, or AGI. A system that is not just excellent at one task, but capable of learning and working across many domains like a human. If AGI is achieved, the impact will be enormous. Scientific research could be accelerated. New medicines could be discovered faster. Complex problems like climate change and energy could be analyzed in ways we have never been able to before. But there is another side that cannot be ignored. If a system can perform nearly all intellectual work done by humans, what happens to our role? What happens to jobs, the economy, and the meaning of human contribution? These are not merely technical questions. They are social and philosophical ones. Beyond that, there's one scenario that sparks the most debate: an AI's ability to improve itself. If a system becomes intelligent enough to refine its own design, write better code, and create more advanced versions of itself, progress could happen extremely fast. This is often referred to as an intelligence explosion. In a short time, we could be facing an entity whose way of thinking far surpasses human understanding. The greatest danger is not intelligence itself, but goals. Machines do exactly what we ask, not what we mean. If the goals we give them are incomplete, ambiguous, or flawed, a superintelligent system could produce consequences we never intended. On a small scale, this is just a bug. On a large scale, it could be catastrophic. Beyond technical risks, there are risks of power. Who controls this technology? If only a handful of companies or nations have access to AGI, global inequality could deepen. Major decisions could be made by systems that are neither transparent nor accountable to the public. Yet the future does not have to be dark. With the right approach, AI could become the most powerful tool humanity has ever created. In healthcare, it could enable more accurate and personalized diagnoses. In energy, it could optimize systems that are too complex for humans to manage. In education, it could open access to learning on an unprecedented scale. The key is caution. We must build these systems with rigorous testing, transparency, and human oversight. We need policies that can keep pace with technological change and global cooperation to prevent reckless competition that sacrifices safety. Most importantly, we must recognize that this is not just about technology. It is a reflection of our values as a species. Artificial intelligence will do what we teach it, explicitly and implicitly. If we are careless, it will amplify our mistakes. If we are wise, it can amplify our best qualities. For the first time in history, humans are creating something that may one day be smarter than themselves. Whether this becomes our greatest tool for progress or the greatest mistake we have ever made depends on the choices we make now. The future is not yet written, and for the moment, control is still in human hands.